Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your highlights review. Yes, West Ham beat Tottenham 3-2 in a friendly in Perth. And I tell you what, it served its purpose. It was a really good run out. Even though West Ham won the game, it is a pre-season friendly, and we have to remember the fact that it is a pre-season friendly. But essentially, it's a job but both teams have to turn up for, do a job, and just show that they've got the legs to be able to do 90 minutes and just see what we've both got. Now, something we have to take into consideration is that the level of quality within both the squads, because Tottenham took out a full strength squad to Australia where West Ham didn't. That's not taken away for the players that stepped up in this game during the preseason friendly, but there is a balance about levels. And, I think we've got 8 or 9 first team senior players in our squad, and in comparison to the Tottenham lineup, it was night and day in terms of the squad level. And if you look at the value of what the players were worth, etc., we had a lot of young players out there to prove a point as well. The starting lineup for Tottenham saw them give a debut to James Maddison, and also it's the first game for Ange Postecoglou. And I think what we were maybe expecting as not a neutral, not a fan of Tottenham, but just seeing what style of play that Tottenham would try and do under Ange Postecoglou. But you can see already that there's going to be a lot of work there to do. In actual fact, even from the first preseason game, you can see that they look like they were all over the place, and it's going to take them a while to adjust to this new style of play. What you get with a player like James Maddison is he's static in the middle of the park, and he waits for the ball to come towards him. And I don't think Ange Postecoglou is going to like that. I think he's going to want the work rate, a bit like what David Moyes expects from his players. So I know it's pre-season. I know things will change through time. But essentially, from what I saw in the first half, I think Tottenham are far away from the process. Now, that first half team that Tottenham put out really struggled, but it was an all right first half for both teams. But West Ham had full-blown control of that game in the first half. And then, obviously, Tottenham made 11 changes in the second half. And West Ham didn't make any changes initially. And the game changed around and it switched over and it went all Tottenham. But essentially, I was delighted that we gave another run out to our young players in the team. Divine Mbama gets a start for West Ham side alongside Danny Ings. And I thought essentially the two of them played really well together. Up front, one dropped off when they needed to, as the other one stayed forward. And our shape in the first half was really, really good. Off the ball, we were in that kind of flat 4 in the middle of the park. And Divine and Ings were together collectively. One would drop back to support that midfield, but very quickly would move forward with the midfield 4. And they worked really well together. And the shape was good. And it was a little bit like Danny Ings has a point to prove in the team, because his tracking back and his work ethic in the back line was really good work ethic today. Really, really good. And I'm impressed with the awareness of what Divine Mbama brings to the West Ham team, his awareness of being a striker and what he's clearly capable of doing and stepping up to do is clear for us to see. It's not just about the preseason today, it's what he's been doing in preseason. It's about what he does in all the different levels he plays at. It's about what he did last season when he came on and featured and scored in the Europa Conference League as well. So the player deserves all the plaudits he gets. I can really see him making the transition up into the first team squad, and I'm excited about what the future holds for a player like Mbama. 100%. Let's look at our defense. You've got Fabianski in goal, who routinely done enough there, done the job, was pretty solid and made some really good saves in the first half as well. Levi Lang, I think we do have a bright spark here as well, if I'm being really honest with you. The difference between him, say, and all the other fullbacks that we've got is he's a big lad. He's very athletic, but he holds himself well. He looks like he is typically a centre half, but he absolutely stood up to anything that came down that right hand side. So we've definitely got a talent in Levi Lang. Zuma Ogbonna, obviously doing the usual stuff they do in the middle of the park. Emerson, great at going forward today, really effective at going forward, fast, pacey. He looks really fit. He looks really up for it. And I think he's going to be vital for us this season. Definitely think he is going to have a lot more game time in his tank for West Ham moving forward. Let me move into the middle of the park. It was the quartet of Bowen, Potts, Downs and Fornals. I think Fornals came into his own in the second half, where he actually had to come more in the middle once Downs went off. And he was vital and pivotal as to the reason why we won the game in the end, because that penetrating pass through for Scamacca, who came on as a substitute to then go on one-on-one with the keeper and smash the ball into the back of the net, wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Pablo's cleverness in getting the ball through and penetrating in that pass. I think he started off a bit slow in the game, but grew into the game as it went on. Flynn Downs had a good game. He's a little bit like a Tommy Soucek replacement, is the way I describe him. Still got a lot to learn, but I definitely think he is one for the future. We all know what Jared Bowen is capable of doing when he gets that ball down the right-hand side. He attacks, he cuts inside, he supports the team where necessary. He can get by defenders, he can shoot. He was unlucky not to get on the score sheet today as well. But the one player I really want to talk to you about is Freddie Potts. I'm telling you something now. We signed a 3-year contract the other day with West Ham. At the age of 19, but he really looks like he could also make the step up, and we may see him feature a little bit more this season. He, in theory, dictated the game in the first half. The ball came through him. He looks to come and collect the pass. He distributes the ball really well. He finds his teammates really cleverly. He gets stuck in. He's got no fear in getting stuck in. 1 or 2 particular tackles in the first half where the ball was going out wide. It was either Madison or Kane on the ball. They turned, they looked to drive in towards the goalkeeper. Who was in front of them? Freddie Potts. Who won the ball? Freddie Potts. You know, there was no concern from him at all who he was stepping up against. And he's been showing signs of that in pre-season. And obviously he's been awarded with getting some regular, first team squad time as well through David Moyes. So he's really one for the future. He's a bright talent, and I think there could be something in this one with Freddie Potts as well. So it's exciting to think about our youth team stepping up to the equation. In the second half, you saw more changes made. You saw Kamari Swire come on with Scamacca. You saw Dan Chesters. You saw George Earthy. You saw Loazu coming back in the defence. Essentially, though, the players that I think that I'm excited about moving forward for this particular season probably is going to be someone like Freddie Potts, Divine Mbama. And if I'm being honest with you, Levi Lang, I think he is stepping into that defensive duties and maybe could challenge there or thereabouts. I certainly don't think he's going to start, but bright's future. The future is bright. The future is claret and blue, I should say. Essentially, though, a good run out. First goal, really good goal. Cross coming in from the right-hand side. Divine Mbama jumps up. It goes over his head. Who's in the back post? Fox in the box. Danny Ings put the ball in the back of the net to add to his tally for pre-season. The second goal, it was a short corner taken from West Ham. Good vision. You can see Mbama backing into the box with his back to goal. But that shows me that he has got one mindset, and that is where the ball is and where the goal is. His awareness to get in between the two defenders is very, very clever. He gets in between the two defenders. He takes one look at the goal. The ball comes in. He smashes it across the goalkeeper as well. It's a really good header for Divine Mbama, again, to add to his tally for pre-season, which is very, very good. Second half comes on. Doing the match day live, people are sitting in the chat going, what's the situation with Scamacca? Has he had much of a touch? I thought he actually played all right for the amount of game time that he did play, and the build-up play that he took part in. However, essentially, he's there for one reason and one reason only, and that is to either set up goals or put the ball in the back of the net, and that's exactly what he did. That penetrating pass from Pablo Fornals, Scamacca was about a yard onside. He broke the trap. He ran through. He went one-on-one with the keeper, and I had no doubts whatsoever that he was going to slot that ball past the keeper, and he did, and West Ham walked away 3-2 victorious. And what you saw at the end of the game was actually a Spurs side that looked like they were panicking, and it was only a pre-season friendly, but I was really surprised at their element of panic. It was like they were desperate to get a goal back, really desperate. They were throwing bodies forward and shooting from distance just to try and create something from the game, but they made a full living switch in the first half to the second half. Richarlison came on. He had several chances. He hit the rose head every single time he had a chance as well. So, yeah, good run out. Good tour of Australia. We get ourselves back, get ourselves fit, get ourselves accustomed back to the British weather, and get ourselves available now for the pre-season friendlies we've got coming up. We've got a bit more work to do, obviously, over the coming weeks. In terms of bringing signings in. So we've got all the young players, all the international players sitting back at Rush Green, doing all the work there. They've all got to come in and integrate back into the squad as well. But it's been a great thing to see the young players step up as well. So really good to see who will feature moving forward in pre-season and also moving into the new season. There's your highlights review in short. Join us for the Hammers headlines later on. Come on, you beautiful Irons.